First, this is a first time I've been to any Jewish event that started on time. Secondly, at the end of my speech, I will answer any question you want except about Donald Trump. And thirdly, Jonathan gave part of my speech today, and I appreciate it. But I'm honored to be here. It's been 7 years since I spoke with the Board of Deputies last, and I must tell you, it's a great honor for me to be here this afternoon with the Board of Deputies of British Jews. Perhaps the oldest ongoing Jewish representative body in the world. Those of us in the New World are impressed when we can date something back to the 1890s. So when the Board of Deputies goes all the way back to King George III, Americans have a hard time grasping that kind of longevity. I'm convinced that some of you may know people who are still there. I'd like to thank Jonathan Arkosh and Gillian Maron for your gracious invitation and your very able leadership through some of the most difficult events I can imagine. We in the U.S. have watched the growing anti-Semitism faced by all of you in Europe, and especially here in Great Britain, with great concern. Sadly today, we not only share those concerns, but we share the great sadness you have and all of Britain over the assassination of a Member of Parliament, Jo Cox, mother of two, who I understand had a brilliant future in front of her. The perpetrator seems to have ties to the far right. I also come from a country in mourning over the deaths of 49 and more than 50 critically injured innocent human beings in Orlando, Florida, by a radical Islamic terrorist. In Israel, the most recent attack took the lives of 4 victims who were simply having dinner at a popular restaurant in Tel Aviv. What do these tragic events have in common? Terror, intolerance, hate? 3 things that Jews have known all too well throughout time. Without question, there has been a resurgence of hate directed against Jews. We have not seen this since World War II. In Europe, these acts have been specifically against Jews in France and in Belgium, with devastating results. Make no mistake, there is a global threat that needs a global response. And as we confront this threat, we will be better able to do so when Jewish communities around the world, in the UK, the US, in Europe, and of course in Israel, stand united with each other. And that is perhaps the founding principle behind the World Jewish Congress. We will support every Jewish community in the world, no matter its size, no matter its wealth, no matter its influence, because of the upsurge in violence against us on this continent. Some have even suggested that all Jews should leave Europe for Israel. Let me make one thing clear. If all the Jews left Europe tomorrow, this would be very sad for the Jews, but it would be a disaster for Europe. 70 years and 3 generations later, after the end of World War II, anti-Semitism is back in the open again. Educated people, sophisticated people, people who should know better, say the same old, outrageous things about Jews in newspapers, on television, and on the internet. Things they would never say out loud about any other group. But unlike the anti-Semitism of the past, today, it does not come just from the far right, but increasingly it comes from the left. The new target for this age-old hatred, however, is not the international Jew, as Henry Ford used to call us in the 1920s. It is the Jewish state of Israel, which is constantly vilified throughout the media, at the UN, and on almost every college campus. Call it BDS, or Students for Justice in Palestine, or major elements of the British political parties. I believe it's still the same old hatred of Jews. They still blame all the world's problems on us. Only now it's Israel, or the Mossad, that's behind everything from 9/11 to the Charlie Hebdo attacks. We are told that Jews cause all wars. But now, it's Israel. It's also Israel that is accused of the old blood libels, like killing children for body parts. Whatever in the world is wrong, Israel is at fault, according to today's anti-Semites. When someone says, and Jonathan quoted, well, they're not anti-Semitic, they're only anti-Israel, that's a lie. Because when you hold Israel to a different standard, when you lie about Israel, its past, its present, its people, and when you actually work to end Israel, the British community certainly knows this better than most others. There is a deep and well-founded concern over the statements by the leaders of the Labour Party. The anti-Zionism and the BDS movement on various campuses is more active here than in most countries. Earlier this year, the School of Oriental and African Studies at London University voted to boycott Israel, and this was sanctioned by the university. Would London University or any other school tolerate the same sanctions against blacks, Muslims, gay people? You know the answer to that. So if it's not okay to sanction these groups, why is it okay to sanction Israel? Why is it okay to sanction Jews? Because, make no mistake, these people are not just sanctioning a country, they are sanctioning a people, and that is not all right. The BBC, once the gold standard for journalism, seems to have a special vendetta against Israel, not unlike that of the UN. I particularly want to commend the board for challenging the deplorable anti-Semitism in pockets of mainstream politics. Jonathan, you gave an exceptional testimony at Parliament hearing last week and clearly articulated the community's just concerns. I join you, Jonathan, and the board in demanding action. On another front, I am heartened by the resolve of British Jewry. I spoke in Jerusalem in January about the evil of BDS movement. I say again here today that this is a profoundly anti-Semitic movement with ties to the Muslim Brotherhood that seek the destruction of the Jewish people. The better way than boycott document that you have created offers positive alternatives to BDS. The Fair Play Campaign Group brings together Jewish and pro-Israel groups brilliantly. Your meetings with senior executives of Sky News and BBC have, I believe, yielded results. You have pushed back against local councils flying Palestinian flags and passing BDS motions. Jonathan, Gillian, and all of you have not been silent in the wake of this onslaught. The World Jewish Congress and I are here to support you. We stand by you, and we are very proud of what you are doing to fight anti-Semitism and anti-Israel bigotry. And we will support you in all that you are doing on all these fronts. The problems we face as a people in 2016 are very real. But there is something absolutely vital that everyone in this room should remember. Today, our destiny is in our own hands. It wasn't always that way. In the 1930s, as just heard, the founders of the World Jewish Congress had to beg the rest of the world for help. In 1936, they gathered in Switzerland to bring the growing threat of Nazi Germany to the world's attention. I must tell you, that was the time of the founding of the World Jewish Congress, and their cry, as you heard, fell on deaf ears. 6 years later, in 1942, Gary Regner sent the famous telegram, and he was the first secretary of the World Jewish Congress. And he talked about the Holocaust in his telegram. And again, it fell on deaf ears. We did not have the power to get it done. Much of the world's attitude towards us may not have changed, but one thing has definitely changed. We have changed. We have no longer the era of the ghetto Jew or the timid Jew. We are no longer the quiet Jew. We will speak out. The World Jewish Congress does not have an army to defend the Jewish people. It is not a global economic power like Israel, but we have tremendous political clout, and we're not afraid to use it. When a right-wing neo-Nazi party became part of the parliament in Hungary, we went directly to the Prime Minister and we told him that it was not all right, and we suggested in the strongest possible terms that this could affect Hungary's economy, and it did. And we did the same thing in Greece. When I spoke at Auschwitz last year for the 70th anniversary of liberation, I said that it was not just world anti-Semitism that led to the Holocaust. It was world indifference. That is why I am fighting world indifference to anti-Semitism. Whenever I see it, we must all constantly fight that indifference. It doesn't stop there. The challenges we face in 2016 may be as old as time. But with technology and the internet, we must find new ways to fight these challenges. That is why our great priority of the World Jewish Congress is the next generation. The Jewish children around the world are our future, and we are committed to getting them involved, to making them proud of their inheritance. And what we intend to do, we have new forms of communication to involve them, not our old ways. We will use social media like it's never been used before, and we have already seen some of the positive effects. I want to share with you a few of our projects on this front. We have created the Jewish Diplomatic Corps, which some of them are here in England, young people between the ages of 25 and 45 who have been trained to lobby their governments for their Jewish communities. Today, there are 250 of them for many different countries, and I intend to have 1,000 Jewish diplomats from every country with a Jewish community. We're in the process of creating a website that will monitor all anti-Semitic, all anti-Israel activity on college campuses. And we will hire recent graduates from these colleges to go back to their universities and work with students. They know the terrain and they know the faces because they were just there, and they were helping the effort to take back the colleges from the haters of Israel and the Jewish people. I also wanted to create a Jewish Peace Corps with young Jews from Israel and the diaspora just out of college and not sure what they want to do. They will volunteer to work in Jewish communities throughout the world. And while they help others, they will also learn about their people and what it means to be part of their community. We're also going to create a Hasbara section. I'm tired of telling the Israeli government they should have a ministry of Hasbara. At the World Jewish Congress, there is no reason that our enemies should define our own narrative. Some of the smartest people in advertising are Jewish, and Jews practically invented public relations. We are going to get the best and the brightest among them, and many of them are here in England. And we, not our enemies, will define our story. That is just one of some of the things we at the World Jewish Congress are doing to confront these threats. You have to understand that I have no doubt whatsoever that we will ultimately prevail. I want to share with you my vision for the future, of the Jewish future of our people. And this is what I see ahead. I see the vibrant creativity of the Jewish people, admired by the world. I see the Jewish state of Israel, not vilified, but a country that everyone wants to copy. I see the end of boycotts. And perhaps most importantly of all, I see our young people proud to be Jewish once again. That's because there's a lot to be proud of. We belong to a people that have disproportionately advanced civilization. Jews gave the world monotheism. Jews save lives, all lives. Jews make the world better with their ingenuity, their music and literature. We make up less than 1% of the world's population, yet we have won 20% of all the Nobel Peace Prizes. We may be only 15 million people in a world of 2 billion Christians and 1.5 billion Muslims, but we have an incredible arsenal in talent and creativity. We also have thousands of years of tradition. Today, I've given you a list of challenges. I've told you about my vision. I will leave you with an important reminder. The Jewish people are not going to disappear. We have all come too far, for too long, to just disappear. This is not part of God's plan, but we can't completely leave it in his hands. He expects us to do the work. He has supplied us with the means. We will use the Jewish brilliance and Jewish creativity to solve our problems. There's an iconic photograph from the Holocaust. You've all seen it. See it behind me? There's a frightened boy with his hands up. He's walking out of the ghetto. Nazi stormtroopers, you can see, with automatic weapons, stand nearby, smiling. We see this Jewish boy who represents 1.5 million other Jewish children who perished. 6 million Jews altogether, and our hearts break. But we cannot help him. We cannot save him. We can do nothing for this frightened boy. But imagine this. What if an angel came down at the moment this photo was taken and told the boy, listen to me, in less than 10 years, there will be a Jewish state in our homeland of our forefathers. There'll be a Jewish army and a Jewish Air Force and a Jewish Navy to defend Jews. Jewish soldiers will fall from the skies and rescue Jews in far-off lands. And this country will open its doors to every Jew on earth that needs help. Have faith, little boy. God is watching us. Do you think the boy could have possibly believed this angel? Would you have believed him at that time? Here is my point. We have to constantly remember what we have and what we have accomplished. We have to remember how far we have come. Today, we can fly into Tel Aviv on a Jewish airline with bold blue Star of David on the side for the whole world to see. It's flown by a Jewish pilot, and all we have to do complain about is the food. We must never, ever forget what we have earned, what we have fought for, and what we have accomplished. Finally today, I want to leave you with an old Hasidic tradition that in every Jew, a flame burns. Sometimes that flame is obscured, and the person can't see it, but it's always there. It's always burning. All you have to do is dust it off, and you will find it. 35 years ago, when I served as U.S. Ambassador to Austria, I saw a group of Jewish children from the Soviet Union in a nursery school in Vienna, learning about their heritage for the first time. I can't really explain it, but those children moved me in a way that I have never been moved before. Those children helped me find the Jewish flame inside my heart. They helped me rediscover my Jewishness. This is our job before us now, to help our children and our grandchildren dust off their hearts. We have to help them rediscover that Jewish flame inside them. This isn't just important for Jews, it's important for everyone, Jews and Gentiles, because for over 5,000 years, that flame has been lighting up the entire world. This is my directive to all of you. Do not let that flame go out. We've come too far, and the stakes are too high. We must never let that flame go out. God bless the Jewish community of Great Britain. God bless all of you in this room. And may God continue to bless the Jewish people. Thank you. Let's